positioned in society to repeat the anti-Black racism as well as the colonial violence towards indigenous people, and really are positioned to kind of keep a status quo sometimes. Not everybody, not want to avoid blanket statements, but just politically, that was my perspective. And so, I kind of pushed back against this, and I'm really glad that we have an environment we can discuss, and I was allowed to do this episode. And so I'm super honored. I feel like, myself personally, I feel like I owe so much to the Black community and to Black culture. I do hip hop music. I grew up listening to that. I also breakdance too, and that all comes from the hip hop culture. And so, and even my political consciousness, at UW, like one of my good friends, he was a really, really just brilliant organizer, activist, and voice. And I don't think I would, I just would not be the person I am, and I wouldn't have the views I have, and I wouldn't have even the values I have without the Black community and the Black culture. So I'm super grateful and super honored. Our first guest is Moses' son. And he's just, I got to give a shout out to Yuna, my big sis, my Nuna. And she introduced me to Moses and his work. And I was just blown away. Like sometimes there's people, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but sometimes when I see artists or see the work of an artist, like without even meeting them or knowing them or what they even look like, I'm just, the work speaks for itself. And yeah, I'm super honored to share this great conversation we had. And I had so much trouble actually cutting it down. It was like an hour-long, amazing conversation. And to cut it down to try to 10 minutes, we ended up being around 15 minutes. But I hope you really enjoy it. And, he's just brilliant artist. He's worked on both the side of commerce as well as in the community. And we're super happy and proud to share his perspective and voice as a local artist from the Black community. So without further ado, please enjoy Moses' son's interview.
Yeah, I mean, I was born and raised in North Carolina, raised in a military town, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Went to was very fortunate and was able to go to art school at a very young age, at 16. It was like an art boarding school kind of thing, which pretty much made me who I am today, in the sense of that it really. The schooling we had is like 15 students. And what's really wild is that years later, like most of the people that I went to high school with are still practicing creatives or artists of some sort. And that was years ago. But they really taught us about ourselves. And the first year was really tearing down your ego, tearing down like just everything about you that you thought you knew, and then building you back up. And by second year, it's like you transform. You go through this kind of metamorphosis where you become that artist, that your voice. So that was a very important part of my kind of origin story, being from North Carolina, being from the South, and then moving on to Chicago, to the Art Institute of Chicago, spent time there, then bounced and went to Toronto for 3 years, Toronto, LA. And just every day I was like in the studio making something, either mixed media or something on my iPad, or drawing or painting, or there was always something going on. There was always something to process, that because I was like, kind of separated from my family for a while, and then trying to rebuild the self.
Yeah.
And I think everyone goes through a period of time in their life where you have to just question yourself and question your very core of your existence, of why you're here.
Yeah.
And when circling back to the Black Lives Matter mural at the CHOP, it was my first time to really be out in public in a long time, or just be out among even other artists, because I found it very hard to connect with artists in Seattle. And then all of a sudden this group was born out of that. And I just remember the feeling of, going there, having on my gloves, my mask. Like I brought like I went to the hardware store, got like all kinds of painting materials, all kinds of stuff. I arrived there. They were like, "Man, you're more prepared than we are." I was like, "Man, I'm just trying to just get this going." And I designed my letter and everything like that. But then, paints didn't they didn't necessarily have all the paints I needed. So I took one part of one letter that I really wanted to do of the 6 designs. And then I said, well, I'll just take these 2 parts, this purple and this other color, and just make that. And then the rest of it I improvised and just did what I do, which is like break the margins, like break out. Do the unexpected, push farther, because conceptually, I'm always like looking for the next layer or looking for the meaning and the meaning of why I'm doing something. And so, the way that the mural just resonated in Seattle and then throughout the country and then different parts of the world was just so moving. It just unleashed something inside of me that I didn't even know I had anymore. Because I grew up being really politically active, going to different marches and things like that, because my dad was like very, very much into not so much politics, but into social justice. He was at I found out after I did the Black Lives Matter mural that both my grandfather on my mother's side and my dad were both at, the March on Washington with Dr. King. And I was like, what? Like, and I was hearing this from my sister and then from my auntie. And then it's like, my auntie's like, yeah, I was, she's telling me she was she joined the Black Panther Party when she was like in 11th grade. I was just like, what? Just all these things get revealed as you kind of step into your purpose. And so all of a sudden, what I thought had been really dormant or had gone completely away, which was my social justice or political side of things, or it was just there. It was just dormant. But like I was saying with the Wing Luke mural, it was at first like, I was like, okay, so they said, oh, there's like 52 panels. I was like, okay, what does that mean? And then I actually looked at it and I was like, oh wow, this is like half a city block. And just thinking about it, and I was like, okay, let's just go. This has been, I was recommended, and I was like, okay, well, we just got to put it in. And my process, I just followed my process that I had been developing over the past couple of years, which was I do these like very like meditative drawings that are intuitive, and I'll do multiple layers of line and texture, or sometimes I use film, sometimes I use photography, sometimes I'll use wood, sometimes I'll use all of the above. It just depends on like what I'm going for, or even archives. And so with Wing Luke, it was kind of a convergence of all of that. And to work with them in the community and learning more about Wing Luke and his influence and what he had done, and then to have this museum that's really like a hybrid of sorts between like community center, museum, just a place for people to just be and learn, and preservation and historical. I was just like, wow, this is a lot. And I was very welcomed by everyone, the staff. Jessica was just awesome. I just felt all this support. And then really my public practice was born there, because I had never actually done like a large scale mural. The largest scale I had painted was actually at the Black Lives Matter mural. And then, and that was done in a day. Well, I mean, I come from, we're all descendants of enslaved people. I can only go back so far. And I remember the first time really understanding that was when I was in Canada. And I was talking to a person from, I think he was from I think it was from Ghana. And he was just like, so where are you? Oh, no. He was from Barbados. And he was like, so where are you from? And I said, I'm from the States. He was like, but where are your folks from?
Yeah.
The States. He's like, where are your grandparents from? I'm like, the States. He goes, well, what about your people? And I said, they were enslaved people. And so unlike him, he could be like, oh, I'm from Barbados, or other black folks I'd meet, or they'd be like, I'm from Jamaica, I'm from Ghana, I'm from Nigeria, I'm from here, I'm from there. And then all of a sudden having that feeling like, damn, like, I don't know. Like, and it's a really, it's powerful to know where you're from. And the closest I could get was like getting, like a ancestry.com type of thing, seeing where supposedly I'm from. But what was weird is when I got that, when my results came in, I literally like saw the map and I just started crying. Because I was like, what? Like I couldn't even look at it. It was too painful because I could see the transatlantic, slave trade. I'd studied that and I've done work about that. It was way deeper than I expected as an experience, for that to come through. But as for my culture, I mean, I'm born and raised in the South, but I've traveled all over and I've been kind of like, I've always looked at myself as a citizen of the world, not just like, oh, I'm from this United States. I'm like, I've always had this view of wanting to connect with different people, no matter where they're from. And I've always found like common ground in breaking bread with people. Like that would be my thing. Wherever I go, I'd always like make food. I'd always like have a dinner party. But the new dinner party is doing public work. I approach art, visual art, like hip hop. Like my beats are the materials that I make. Like I'll create an entire series that then I later sample from in something else. Like I'll photograph a bunch of flowers that are dying because there's a metaphor there. And then later on it'll appear in other work or archives or things that I do. And there's this very kind of like almost bipolar in a way, like sides to my work where there's this very like beautiful, lyrical, abstract work, but then there's this other side that's very like biographical and graphic in the sense that it may be pleasing to the eye, but once you start really examining the content, it hits you in your chest. And that's also one of the geniuses of African Americanism, of blackness. It's like we will reinvent and we will go from like a really horrible thing and invent a way to either relieve that pressure through the arts or through writing, through whatever it may be, or just like, sharing a table with each other, to having a party or creating culture, the visualist or the architect, but like it's like I combine both those things. And when you have a strategic mind and you're actually able to execute things and you understand things from, and because I've had the experience of working inside and outside of both art and commerce, or commercialism or big business, it's like
kind of bring those strengths to the table.
Yeah, I can bring all that to the table, and as an artist, people don't expect that.
Yeah, that's powerful.
But it's like, so when they contact me and be like, oh, I'd like, to commission you to do something, I'll be like, well, I'm not really feeling your brand, but I'd be willing to have a conversation with you if you do this. And they'd be like what? But like, how about you donate to this cause or something like that? Like, we as artists need to realize our power.
Like,
I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, that's the other thing I've realized is I don't have a choice. I'm a vessel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't know a lot of times where these things come from. I don't prescribe to intellectualizing my emotions and feelings as much as I see, you know, a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because sometimes you just can't explain it, you know, with words.
For sure.
Sometimes it's just best left alone, and you're best left alone to just feel what you feel and then just express it. And sometimes you don't even know like what that answer is until years later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, man, if you're doing what's in your heart, just, it's like I've said to people, I've said, like, if you're doing something good right now, just do more of that. As long as it's, you know, good for you, good for, you know, whatever you're really good at, just keep doing more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we need in these times.
Yeah, definitely.
Know, as long as it's not bringing harm to people, you know. I got very used to being like, wow, like I just had this practice of if I judge someone, really, if I was judgmental, I'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
So check yourself.
Yeah.
So it'd always be the internal check
Mm-hmm.
first before I'd even like
Mm-hmm.
start the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like approach with humility, approach with just the heart. And a lot of times you find out many things about people that they may not say to anyone else. Basically this, like, whatever is great for Black people will be amazing for humanity. Like, don't get it twisted.
Hello. Yeah, I mean, that was really incredible. I love his perspective. You know, this is a great opportunity to really just have dialogue and understand each other, and you know, being able to speak with a really like incredible mind, incredible creative voice. I think is so important at this time. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Moses' son, please check out his work, support him. He's a local artist here. And our next segment is a young rapper named D, and he is from Federal Way, originally from Kansas, and he is just such a young, talented man. And you know, one of his dreams is to just be the greatest MC he can be. You know, and so you know, it's funny. Like he was so honored to come on the show and you know be in the studio, and he said this is his first time, but you know, I got to give a shout out to my big brother, you know, Barry Johnson. That's his uncle. And he's just this up and coming talent. And I'm just so honored to share some of his music that he's worked so hard on. And so please enjoy a short performance by D.
Okay, look, I won't ever change. If I ever change, my niggas change. I'm still rolling up, I'm still writing cuts to heal my pain. I still fill my cup, I still fill it up to feel okay. Yeah, I won't ever change. If I ever change, my niggas change. I'm still rolling up, I'm still writing cuts to heal my pain. I still fill my cup, I still fill it up to feel okay. I don't feel no ways. They could kill my darling, kill the case. That's your man, she fake. I can tell cause she look like the Jakes. Niggas out of place. I ain't coming back, I'm state to state. Making tidal waves just so they can crash and break the bank. That's on gang we slide. This too many times and he get pine. That's at any time. I can't even lie, I stand on mine. I got too much pride. That's the type of shit that get you time. Came from homicide. I seen way too many niggas die. Still, look, I won't ever change, if I ever change, my niggas change. I'm still rolling up, I'm still riding cause to heal my pain. I still fill my cup, I still fill it up to feel okay. I won't ever change, if I ever change, my niggas change. I'm still rolling up, I'm still riding cause to heal my pain. I still fill my cup, I still fill it up to feel okay. I won't ever change, if I ever change, my niggas change. I'm still rolling up, I'm still riding cause to heal my pain. I still fill my cup, I still fill it up to feel okay. 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 Yeah. Still. Yeah, what's the point in having fame if they ain't in the loop? All the niggas need to learn and kick game to the youth. Let them know about the trials and the pains you've been through, in the hopes that they can learn and be greater than you. I think about my brothers almost every day. I hope you know I love you though we're far away, and you can call me whenever you're feeling lost or stray. I know a lot has changed, I'm sure you got a lot to say, but I'm on a mission, 007 pissing to get you the ones that glisten and take you out in submission and put you in good position so you can grow up with privilege and live with your heart and visions. Not enough words to say how I feel, nevertheless keeping it real. No need to stress, homie, just chill, cause your brother right in the field for you. What's the point in having fame if they ain't in the loop? All the niggas need to learn and kick game to the youth. Let them know about the trials and the pains you've been through, in the hopes that they can learn and be greater than you. What's the point in having fame if they ain't in the loop? All the niggas need to learn and kick game to the youth. Let them know about the trials and the pains you've been through, in the hopes that they can learn and be greater than you. And when it comes to the beat, trust me, I got it covered. I got a couple of sets of chopping and have it smothered. People hating, always saying this, that, and the other, but if you need some assistance, nigga, call your brother, and you won't pay for nothing. No, you won't pay for nothing. Scholarships and startups, man, I had that coming. Just remember when we get it, that it's all for nothing. If them doesn't let you know who we all trust in. Do believe me or not, the truth will rise to the top. I did run from the cops, I took them shots from the ops. I'm lucky that we survived, cause when we die it's not a big surprise soon. Not enough words to say how I feel, nevertheless keeping it real. No need to stress, homie, just chill, cause your brother right in the field for you. What's the point in having fame if they ain't in the loop? All the niggas need to learn and kick game to the youth. Let them know about the trials and the pains you've been through, in the hopes that they can learn and be greater than you. What's the point in having fame if they ain't in the loop? All the niggas need to learn and kick game to the youth. Let them know about the trials and the pains you've been through, in the hopes that they can learn and be greater than you. Yeah. 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 Thank you.
Man, that's so awesome. That was actually filmed earlier today in studio. We're just over in Capitol Hill, and you know, if you're around Seattle, people are just throwing fireworks. People are dancing in the street. They're wearing all types of clothes. It's pretty cool. You know, I think there's a lot of change happening, and there's a lot of excitement and energy building up. And you know, I think, you know, there's obviously negativity in the world, but also, like, you know, I think there's always kind of a balance too, you know. So you know, I'm so honored to hear these different perspectives and voices and share their talents. Next person we have up is Jessica Reichel, and she's just this really incredible artist. Like, again, when I see people's work, I feel like true art comes from your soul. So when you're able to like see someone's work, I feel like you get a glimpse of their soul, you know. And I feel like this is definitely a person that I feel whose work carries that, and it's so beautiful. And I'm really honored to know her and get to explore art and have a conversation in studio. And so without further ado, we present Jessica Reichel.
Well, I'm Jessica Reichel. I'm from a town called Macon, Georgia, in the South. It's like almost smack in the middle of the state of Georgia. I think when I was younger, I didn't realize how special it was. It was just ordinary to me because so much of my family had been there for so long, and it was so familiar that I didn't feel like I don't think I understood at that point how special it was. So I was itching to leave, and I think part of that was the art calling me too. Like it wasn't necessarily just wanting to get away from the hometown, but I think it was something bigger than myself that I felt like I needed to see outside of Macon. And I grew up pretty sheltered too, so I hadn't seen much outside of Macon, so I had no idea what I was looking for. I just knew that I needed to get out to find it. And so I think art being my path definitely shifted things quite a bit and shaped who I am as an artist. I think being from the South, a Black child from the South with a very Christian, traditional upbringing definitely shaped who I am as an artist and the way that I express myself. And even the way that my art forms sound is very much so shaped by those early traditions and those stories. And so I feel like I've made my work about honoring Blackness in the ways that I can, and with as many mediums as I can. I mean, I love Black people. I love how diverse Blackness is. I love how impossible it is to describe. I love that it's not one thing. I love that it's everything and nothing at the same time. Yeah. I love that it's so personal and individual, but it's also so collective and it's so communal, and fellowship is such a central part of Blackness. And it's the ultimate paradox. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think the contrast between the way that we ended up here and the way that our spirits carried us into being just in the beginning of time, that tension, I think it's difficult to navigate. And I think art gave me a language to do so. And I think when I discovered that, it was hard to let it go. And I wanted to pull as many people into it as I could. And I think honoring people with language and storytelling and also just the visual art of photography, like documenting us in a place that honestly still seems fixated on our erasure is important. And that's damn near revolutionary at this point. It always has been in a way. And also just with the language, like the way that we keep ourselves alive and the things that we do know about ourselves as Black Americans is absolutely tied to the oral traditions and the stories that we tell. So spoken word and writing and language and public speaking all kind of feel like natural paths, especially as somebody with a Christian background. Just kind of everything from the church, everything except the church at this point. I think I came from a place that wasn't ashamed of Blackness at all. Like, we were real Black, like black. Deep South Black. But it also was steeped in respectability politics, which is ultimately policing Blackness. So there's this tension there that I think I grew up and felt was normal until something about my life just clicked and it didn't feel as normal anymore. And it felt like I was being untrue to myself, and also just carrying unnecessary shame around just the way that Blackness is. You don't really need to rebrand or repackage Blackness. It just is. And whatever way it shows up is perfect. And I think it took me a while to appreciate that. And I honestly feel like Seattle had a big thing to do with that. I think growing up in the environment that was so Black, I took it for granted. Like it was just so normal. And then when I got to a place where it wasn't normal and Blackness was other and only, it was a completely different experience. And it made me go like, wow, like all this stuff that I thought was just ordinary, I really missed. Like all of that stuff really shaped the world around me. I think what I wanted to do with the events that I started creating was just again, by diversifying the ticket, you automatically diversify the audience. And so like places and spaces for a bunch of different kinds of brown people to come and just be like, yo, people aren't fighting here. You know what I mean? I think it's so hard. It's so easy for us to get caught up in the news and the media, and it's like everybody's fighting us. Everybody's fighting us. But it's okay for us to create spaces where nobody's fighting. Where people are just showing up to kick it, be fly, hear somebody else tell a story that they can relate to, and kick it. And I think that's just as magical. So I think my thing is just about honoring Blackness as a free form state of being without expectation. Like, you can just come and be, and there are gonna be some other people here who are completely different from you, but they're also just showing up to just be. They're coming for the same freedom that you are. And so I think I got so desperate for spaces where I didn't feel like I was. Seattle made me feel, and still makes me feel, very invisible and exposed at the same time as a Black person. And I think I wanted to create spaces where I didn't feel that way, and also invite other people into that same like relief. Like, wow, like, dang, I don't have to worry about who's watching me. I don't have to worry about how loud I'm being at the table. I don't have to worry about who's judging what I want to wear. Like, if I want to wear something like, a little bit more free form or free spirited, I can do that. If I want to wear something more conservative, I can do that. No matter what, people are going to show up and just have a good time with me. And I think that's important. I think it's important for us to honor ourselves as just humans who aren't fighting something all the time. I think every little project, every independent thing, every poem that tells a Black story, every photo that shows a Black person or a Black face that's not narrated by somebody else is absolutely necessary. Every video, every interview, every person that you bring into the project is absolutely necessary. And I think it's just us understanding that there are many pieces to this, and you are a master in your own right when it comes to storytelling, and there's no need to diminish that. And show up and find as many ways to tell stories as you possibly can. It's just not pretending like because you are a master in your version of storytelling, you're also a master in all these other versions, and being willing to all be masters together. I think there's this weird, which I honestly feel like is a Western thing, probably a Western thing. A lot of it is that. But there's this weird idea that because you're a master, you have to be the only. And I don't see it that way. I think a room full of masters is the most powerful thing you could possibly have. Why wouldn't you want a master of every element in the room? To me, that magnifies the chances that you survive. And I feel like that's how we should be. So my work is not being afraid to be a master among masters.
I feel that.
So there are Black and queer people in the world, man. I think as a person working to organize with an inclusive lens, I see a lot. I hear a lot. I don't pay attention to it because that's not my business. My business is to create the space. But I see and I hear a lot. And in the media even, I see and I hear a lot. And there's a lot of tension within a lot of these movements. That's sort of like, hey, you're dividing the movement because you want it to be about this. Or you're dividing the movement because you want it to be about queer rights. Or you're dividing the movement because you want it to be about feminism. And I feel like that also stems from a very Western way of seeing things, of splitting a person into the labels and identities that are required on a census form. Like why would me being my full self or advocating for my whole freedom diminish any part of a movement? In my opinion, when you advocate for the people at the innermost part of the margin, you automatically free everybody else. If you start with the people who are the most disenfranchised and you free those people, literally everybody else is automatically free. That's how I see it. That's how I approach it. And I feel like a lot of times we struggle to do that in our movements. And I'm doing so much work on myself, just like with my therapist, with my ancestors, my spirits. Like I'm understanding it better now. There's so much historical context to that. I don't think it's because inherently people just think a thing is bad. I think a lot of it is attached to fear. I think they already don't accept Black people. Now you want them to accept Black and gay people. They're never going to accept Black people if they got to accept the gay people too. So it's kind of like the same respectability politics. It comes from the same place. And I know that, which is why I'm so adamant about building spaces the way that I do. But it's very difficult as a person who lives and embodies intersectionality. I'm as intersectional as they come. And there are just so many layers and so many shades. And I feel like I don't like feeling like I need to divide myself to advocate for my own liberation. That's a really strong contrast. And so I think when you have brown people creating schools for brown kids, then you have just a different level, like a different standard for compassion, which creates a more conducive learning environment and kids that feel safe to be curious about who they are. Versus feeling like they're gonna be punished for it.
For sure, for sure. Dope. Do you have any last things that you would like to say, or anything you want to talk about, or just share?
Do I? I just want to say that I love Black people, because I do. With my whole heart. I do. I really do. I just love how inspired I am by just seeing Black people exist after everything that we've endured in America anyway. I think for Black people to be able to just be ourselves is revolutionary, it's powerful, it's dynamic, it's inspiring, it's resilience. I think it's the textbook definition of resilience, to be Black and vibrant and joyous, or even honestly even just Black and sad. To be Black and emotional. Black and soft, Black and anything other than what the media says we are is amazing. And I just want to commend every Black person who makes a decision to do that every day. I think I've been on a personal mission to find one thing every week that I'm not going to apologize for as a Black person. Stop apologizing so much for myself. And I want to keep empowering everybody else to do that, do the same thing. We can't afford to take up space. I think respectability politics have been proven to be a myth at this point. And I think given how much violence comes toward us, like, we can't afford to be timid about our own joy, about our own passion, and about our own existence outside of whiteness, or not in response to whiteness. So I just want Black people to claim their Blackness and their joy for themselves. Oh yeah. The most profound decision I ever made as a Black person was to love myself.
Man, that was so beautiful and wonderful. Hope you guys enjoyed Jessica Reichel. She's a local artist as well, and just she's sharing part of her story and part of her practice and her perspective and views. Our next guest is Andrew Hype. He's a Jamaican chef and health advocate, food advocate. He really introduced me to kind of like a Dr. Sebi diet, an alkaline-based diet. He's also vegan, or cooks vegan, and I think he is also vegan himself, even though he cooks like jerk chicken and other stuff for other people. But yeah, we're super honored to know him, and for him to share his culinary skills and experience and his knowledge about how health is wealth. That's one of his main things. He's also a local entrepreneur, and he's introduced me to a lot of really amazing foods, and I've learned a couple dishes from him. So I'm honored to call him my friend and know him in community. But he's sharing some very special dishes. He made the national dish of Jamaica using some vegan, healthy modifications. And he basically built a full meal out. And we're super honored to share with our first cooking demonstration of the channel. So please enjoy, without further ado, Andrew Hype. Oh, just kidding. We're still getting it queued up. Andrew Hype, he's we did an interview with him too, but because of the timing and we're trying to keep the segments roughly whatever, we're going to air the interview later in its own kind of segment with maybe the cooking as its own piece. But we did an interview with him too, and it's pretty amazing. He's was born in Jamaica, and he grew up eating these foods. He grew up farming the land. He grew up raising animals and butchering and killing his own meat. And so his relationship with food and with nature and the earth is something very different, And one time I asked him about what he thought of COVID, just because he didn't seem all that concerned one time when we met up. And he was just saying, there's always going to be things out there to hurt us, but like when you build up your own immune system and you're healthy, he says he's not too concerned. Not to say that it's not serious and that aren't other things, but to know that the foods that you eat nourish your body and are like medicine, to the point where pandemic might not scare you. That's pretty amazing, and following him and some other folks I've met along my journey, it's really changed my diet. So hopefully this insight can, you can try making some of these foods and also think a little bit about the things that we put in, because we are what we eat. So without further ado, please enjoy Andrew Hype and Health is Wealth and his Jamaican cooking demonstration.
Yes, good day everyone. I'm Chef Andrew. Everybody knows as Andrew Hype. I've been doing this Caribbean cuisine, Jamaica cuisine, And there's also a whole bunch of veggie options. Today I'm going to be presenting some veggie options, some very simple veggie dishes out of Jamaica, which is one of them is our ackee and saltfish. Our national dish. But today I'm going to substitute the saltfish with mushrooms, some oysters mushroom with chickpeas flour, oregano, and Himalayan salt. And also I'm also going to be substituting the egg with sea moss. So there's going to be a lot of different, substituting going on without egg, because it's going to be more so vegan based, you know what I mean? So we're going to take it away with, starting with the ackee today, guys. And that's a Jamaica national dish. Everybody love ackee. And it could go for breakfast, it could go for lunch, it could go for dinner. And it's a very simple dish. Onions, we got some tomato, we got some Scotch bonnet pepper. Over here we got some green peppers, red peppers, and this is our Jamaican ackee right here, as you can see. So we're gonna start off as the pan is going warm right here now. I see the putting the colors in according. The most important thing today, guys, is the salt. The salt I'm using today is Himalayan, pink Himalayan salt. It has lots of health benefits. So check it out. I will just let it set down for a minute here, and then I'm gonna add my add the mushroom, which is already sauteed, for this session, because you could saute a mushroom as anyhow you like it. Some people like it really crispy, some like it just slightly, but today I'm just gonna present some mushroom and ackee for you guys today. And what's gonna be served with that today again, guys? Some green banana, some boiled green banana. So look out for that. And today I'm using grapeseed oil. It's very good for eye heat. Oh, that's not too much, but very little bit over the top. So we can work that out. But we still have the ackee to go. So it's not. See all those colors, just you just soften up the peppers, tomatoes, and the mushroom, bring everything together, and we just slightly put in our ackee. Let's sit here for a few minutes and then we just do a slight flip, and then that's going to be ready to serve with our green banana and a side of callaloo. We're going to prepare some callaloo also. This is our green callaloo. It is from the plant of amaranth, a cancer preventer and stuff like that. So it's very beneficial for your body. What is that? A lot of people always say ackee resemble egg. So you will look at it and tell me what you think about it. But it's pretty much done here now. It's just ready to serve. So I'm just going to put this aside to serve with my my quinoa, my callaloo, and all the rest of the good stuff to come, guys. So this is ready. Today we're going to be doing some callaloo, our Jamaican callaloo, and it's very much high in lots of mineral and all benefits you can think about. Help you out. So we're going to start off here with some oil, not just regular oil, but we're doing some grapeseed oil today, very much also high heat, so we can do very high heat with grapeseed oil. I think healing and health is wealth. So when you talk about Andrew Ike, it's all about health is wealth and all about the good recipes and the good ingredients. So that's a very main key. The key thing about food is our ingredients you choose. You know what I mean? So that is all about the key right there. First tip is the oil. So right there and there, oil is getting hot. And the same procedure. We're doing the callaloo and nothing too changed from the ackee. The onion, some tomato, diced tomato. I'm gonna use most of all of them, matter of fact. I'm gonna put the pepper in there right now because I'm not gonna pop it. I'm just gonna put the pepper in there. Now those habanero or Scotch bonnet, they really a lot of flavors. And this should be your best friend in the kitchen. Himalayan, pink Himalayan salt. Don't be shy with it. You could also put some Himalayan salt in your water for health benefits. It's very good for your body. Use it to brush your teeth, all that good stuff. So I think Himalayan salt is very good. Everybody been using Himalayan now. They're finding all the health benefits of it. You know, Himalayan lambs and stuff like that. So good recipes come with good seasoning. As I say, I'm not really shy to use the oil because I'm saying using grapeseed oil. It's not like something going to clog you up, you know what I mean? So right here and there, salt already in, so I'm going to add the callaloo. Fresh chopped callaloo. I'll just stir it in. And this is a very quick dish, guys. Very quick dish. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I'm just going to put a lid on it 3 times being. Not the tightest lid, but that works. And lower flames. Because it's all about steaming, you know. The next step we're going to be working on some oysters mushroom while that going steam. So today, as I say, I'm going to be substituting egg. We're going to use some Irish moss, some sea moss gel with some spring water here. And simply we just separate the oysters mushroom. I'll just put them right here so for time being. You know, I could just use these pictures for better view for my camera, for my audience out here. It's very simple to work with. Oysters mushroom might look delicate and also, but it's very simple to work with. You know, it's not so delicate as it looks. As I say, not too much seasoning. Just the main seasoning today is pink Himalayan salt. And also today I'm going to add to this some oregano, some crushed oregano or ground oregano. And the batter today will be chickpeas flour. So I'm going to use chickpeas flour. That's going to be a very nice crunchy fry. You're going to be thinking of having something other than mushroom. I'll check on the color in the meantime, between time. So that's where it's at right now. We have callaloo ready, we have ackee ready. I'm going to show you how to finalize up your oysters mushroom. So in the bag here I have some dry oregano. Not too many. Just crush some dry oregano. Chickpeas flour. And I say I'll go back forward the Himalayan. Because that's all I'm using as seasoning today other than pepper. So, you know, just make, you know, that's inside your with the substitute. Right here, the substitute for the egg substitute. We're using some sea moss, Irish moss, that contains 101 mineral. It's very good for the body. So just, you know, give it a slight wash, like how, you know, just like how you do your poultry or anything like that, you know. I just use a bag here, so cause it's, you know, it's more convenient to me to use a bag right here, so now to give it a nice coat of chickpeas. Nice crisp batter we're working with today. So we're gonna be deep frying these in some grapeseed oil at a very high temperature. So right now we're back inside the frying section right now. We're gonna be doing our oysters mushroom, and this year we're gonna do a little deep fry. So as I say, I'm not shy. I'm not shy with the oil. We're using grapeseed oil today, very high temperature oil. Waiting for the oil to be hot. And I must say it's nice for me to be in here for you guys cooking with me today, and stay tuned to see the finished dish. Cause we got some green bananas coming, we got some quinoa, all that good stuff coming on a plate for you right here. Just checking the heat. That not ready yet. So give it some more fire. You know, I grew up eating this way. You know, you grew up all this stuff what we eating, what I'm preparing today, except mushroom, I must say. Mushroom is very new to my diet. But callaloo is something what I grew up on. It's a grow wild in Jamaica. And I'm happy to know that I could get it on a regular basis right here in Northwest Pacific. And ackee, it's very hard to come about, but it's also a very vegan dish, as you can see here. And I can't wait for you to taste it, Che, for you to give our audience the feedback. They will just fry them till they get nice and crispy on both sides. And right now, as you can see, they're going according. But I must give you a better tip for a lower pan. Will give you a bit much faster fry. But today, we are just using whatever flow is in this kitchen. One pot, one burner, and it's all happening right here today. So you got to know to improvise also. So, but a lower pan will also give you a much faster fry. But I'm not worried about that. We're just gonna be here. Stay tuned. See the things further. Last but not least, some oysters mushroom. And you got this for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So we have our green bananas, quinoa, callaloo, ackee, and mushrooms. And we also have some oysters mushroom fry. And we also could have a sauce for this year, like a tropical sauce with some peppers and things like that, which I didn't do for you today, but I will promise to do that for you in the next video. So stay tuned next time and enjoy. One love. Peace.
Hey, can you check if this is... Hello, I hope you guys enjoyed that cooking demonstration by Andrew. You saw at the end the crew, the production crew was enjoying his festivities, and we were kind of just joking during the segment, like, man, our mouth is salivating. Like, I want to eat that food, you know? And I don't know if you caught it in the video, but he was talking about how sea moss jelly has over 100 nutrients and vitamins and minerals that our body needs. So when we think about like taking a vitamin, it's like our food could be our vitamins, our nutrients, you know, or it's supposed to be, you know? And so definitely, you know, check out sea moss jelly. It's pretty amazing. There's a lot of health related illnesses that come from just malnutrition. And it's really ironic that in America, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, we actually have high rates of nutritional based sicknesses and illnesses, you know. And so anyways, you know, health is wealth, you know, you take any away from that. Try, you know, that I actually went and bought everything to make those mushrooms. Those with the oyster mushroom, Himalayan sea salt, oregano, and I just need to get some sea moss jelly actually, and then some chickpea flour, you know, and that's he uses it often as a replacement for meat, and it's pretty amazing. So anyways, without further ado, our last guest of tonight's episode. I'm just super honored, you know, to be neighbors and get to know her. She is Reverend Harriet Walden, the OG grandma from the Central District. And she I don't know, it brings so much history, experience, like warmth, generosity, wisdom to the table. And, you know, we had a really great talk, and it was, you know, kind of like many of the people, it was so hard to edit it down because I was like, what do I take out? Like everything's so good. But I hope you guys enjoy this conversation we had with Reverend Harriet Walden of Central District. So please enjoy.
Well, my name is Reverend Harriet Walden. I've been in Seattle since 1975, since Amari was a baby. We got him when he was 6 months old. And open to come to open up a studio, Salisbury Photography. The name is more popular today than it was then. And I'm from Florida, originally born in Jacksonville, raised in Sanford, where Trayvon murdered. Everybody knows about Trayvon Martin. I was raised in Jim Crow, all segregated town, all black township, one of the oldest one in America. It was started by some of my family people was involved with that. So anyway, I've seen a lot of America, and I've been here, like I say, since '75, and started. And I'm an entrepreneur. I had my own business. I've owned my own business off and on most all of my adult life. So my kids get to hustle from their mother. Yeah, when you work for yourself, that's what it is. Get on the airplane working and come off working. And I am a retired optician, and I delivered eyeglasses as an optician. So, and in 1990, I started Mother's Police Accountability because the police beat my kids up. Oh my, and Tundi, Yeah, they were coming home from the Black Community Festival. I lived on 29th and Jackson, and the officer stopped the car and said they were looking for guns and drugs. They never searched the car, but it escalated to 4 boys gotten arrested, and I was not at home because I had went at home. I probably went out there, but I probably wasn't supposed to be home. So anyway, everything is probably in divine order. And at that time, it was no organization standing up for young people. I mean, my kids were not in trouble. They had never been in trouble. And so I started Mothers Against Police Harassment. And then in 1996 or 7, we changed the name to Mothers for Police Accountability because it was more than just harassment that we were working on. And so fast forward until the day, we're still around, still doing the work, and still working on policies and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, I could talk a little bit more about my spiritual journey that got me there. I mean, I consider myself an urban mystic. Those mystics are people who believe in the oneness of mankind. And so everybody can't say that they're mystic because you have to really believe that the world is only one, and there's a thread that connects us, and it's an invisible thread. And science has proven that there is invisible energy out there and stuff like that. So, and I do a lot of positive affirmations and beauty breaks because I think there's more than one way to heal the world. I've never been to Bali, but they say it's extremely beautiful. And beauty can heal the world. It gives you a moment to pause, calms you down, and say, "Oh, okay." And so that's one reason why I do the beauty breaks, especially in the last 4 years. I've been doing them a long time, but the last 4 years we really did need to take a break, from the chaos and stuff like that. And my spirit baskets is part of my spiritual journey. That's part of my spiritual practice, and I do that every day as my own spiritual practice, and it keeps me grounded, no matter whatever I'm going through. That basket, what I can have in that basket, actually keeps me grounded. At the beginning of spring, there's 1,000 shades of green. I mean, it's so pronounced. Spring is quiet. Fall is I call fall is loud, colorful, and boisterous, like Black people. When you see, you cannot escape fall. It's loud. You can escape Blackness because it's loud, and we're loud people, and that's what fall is. But spring is quiet, and it's 1,000 shades of green. By June, all the green look alike. So you have to have a keen eye to be able to see that each plant has a different shade of green. And so I started collecting green because I wanted to do green, and I have a lot of things in green. And so I just came back and went to the art store, bought some paper, and started putting abstract stuff together. I love to put unexpected colors together, and I call some of my art either art joy for moments or art for life or something like that. So it's but I just love color. I mean, it is, and I like that. And then I had a studio in Bainbridge for 6 years on 4 acres of land, and I could just go and I couldn't stay overnight on my cabin, but and then you look out the window and see the first sanctuary is nature. I mean, that's the first sanctuary. And then man got evolved enough to build a building and thought that everything was in the building, but it's not. It's in you. You bring it to the building. You bring consciousness with you. You know, you don't get consciousness there. You have to bring it. Whatever your consciousness is, you bring it with you, you know. And the people who don't like us, that's the consciousness, they bring it. And the people who like us, they bring it. But when you're in nature, and I'd sit there and look out, and it was in the silence. I love to paint in the silence. I don't need any noise. I don't need any music. I just love the silence when I'm painting and stuff. So, oh yeah, you know, and I always say, hey, you know what? On my birth certificate, it says Negro. You know, and you know, and that's what it says on my mother's death certificate. So I understand that you know, we all come from a particular womb, and we have to give credit to that one, you know. And so your mother, you know, so you honor your mother first, Korean and other people. I mean, and I give people permission to do that, because otherwise you leave your mother behind. If you don't, that's it. And so you must always bring your mother with you, you know, because that's the womb mate. That's what got you here. You know, and then we're trained in this culture to leave our people behind. And so when I talk to young people who work for the city, and I say, if you got to say people of color, it's okay, but honor your mother first. If you're Filipino, say Filipinos and other people. And you know, and you always bring your mother, and then you're bringing your grandmother, and all those women, all of that energy. See, so yeah, because you're speaking energy. Well, as a product of segregation, I mean, you know, black lives has always mattered. That's what Harriet Tubman was running for, going back for. So, I mean, this is a new, you know, we've had Black Power, we've had, you know, Right On Now. I mean, we've had all of these slogans, but this is an auspicious time. I mean, I did not watch the video of George Floyd because I needed to protect my psychic, and I did not watch it, but I know it was 8 minutes and 46 seconds of the world captivated, because everybody's home. I mean, so a lot of people saw that. And I think what that did, it woke people up on a primal, deep level. People who might not ever believe that it was so. I also think that the movement has been hijacked a little bit too by the people who actually want to do other things. But I think it's a great opportunity for people to realize that. And I also want to bring in the mothers whose children was killed also in the community, because sometimes Black Lives Matter does not include, they include only what police violence. But in order for us to have a holistic and well community, we got to talk about all the mothers who are crying today because somebody who looked like them killed their child. And don't lose the moment. I mean, we've had these moments before. I mean, we get them so often. We get them after Rodney King. I mean, you know, and of course, after Martin Luther King was assassinated, and all of this stuff, and it's the same anthem, is that we have a right to be here. Absolutely, absolutely. We are the child of the universe, yes, and we have a right to be here, and that's what I think. That's what we're saying, and the voice of people around the world are rising because it's time. Well, I think younger people, we need to teach them history, because if we knew history, at this point, we would not repeat it. And number one, we need to understand that with the system that we live in, this is a system where you have every person in America have 2 representatives and 1 senator. And it's a participatory system. It only works if you participate. And I think people need to step away sometimes from pop culture and absolutely go and learn history. Because when you learn history, the more you know, the more you grow. A lot of times elders are just tired. So a lot of them are tired. I mean, and then they have health issues, because what happens when you work 40 years in a system of dealing with racial oppression and stuff. So I give them a lot of grace, and I would hope that there would be learn to be a lot more respect for elders. And in the meantime, learn that history, because we have an auspicious history. I mean, we fought for our own liberation at every junction. Every junction in America, we fought for our own liberation. And I grew up doing Hidden Figures. I mean, I don't know if you saw that movie or not, but I never had a new book in my life. Never went to a library. My schools was all segregated. I had Black wonderful teachers who absolutely loved us, and loved us enough to make sure we could read and write, you know, and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I mean, there's so much opportunity now for young people. And if they could just really realize they have a lot of opportunity and move away from some of those images that they've been programmed to believe that they have to be criminals or they have to go out and do other things. It's not true. I mean, because in segregation, people wasn't going to jail. I mean, so a lot of this stuff is a learned behavior. And so how can we learn something else? We can learn how to be with one another. I believe that God is everywhere present. And it's just a spiritual path for me. Is that believing that we're all one people, and that's what it takes. It takes a journey to get there, you know. And I got there on many paths. I mean, I honor all religions, all the mystic teachers, all the people who walked the face of the earth to wake up humanity, because everything is consciousness. I mean, and once you can wake up on a beginning to wake up on a conscious level, then the whole world can open up to you in a different way. And so my whole idea is that how can we get people to wake up? You know, I mean, to wake up, to think a different thought, because if you keep thinking the same thing, that's what you're going to get all day. And if you really are not willing to expand yourself, then you see what happens in the world today. Because really, with this expansion of the consciousness, that you can actually see that somebody else absolutely has a right to be. And I think that the homelessness issue in the world right now in America is one of the things that's challenging people's consciousness. You know, I think it has a spiritual answer and also has a physical answer. But how do you see this? How do you see the other people who don't look like you are struggling or whatever? That know that namaste, you know. Namaste, you know, that the spirit in me honors the spirit in you. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's a good segue to your book. I mean, it's repetitious journal.
Yeah, repetition journaling.
Creating a new groove in your subconscious mind.
That's right.
I love that idea.
Yeah,
So
and
crucial.
Well, and actually, I am still working on the journal that goes with this, because I've been journaling repetitiously since 1989. Okay, and I do things repetitiously because I grew up. I didn't know I was dyslexic, but I always had to do things over and over. So I have a lot of patience of doing things over and over. When most people give up, I just do it over and over. And so I started journaling on an affirmation, and I learned that it absolutely does create a new groove in the subconscious mind. And a lot of times when people actually want to go forward and they make a mistake and they fall back and go back to the old habits that they haven't created a new groove. And journaling will do that for you. And eventually I'll have the workbook for every affirmation. And I journal 75 times a night for 75 days. Most people are not that disciplined. So my book will be 21 days at 21 times a night. Most people are not that disciplined.
Yeah, that's kind of that's good though. They say it takes 3 weeks to develop a new habit.
That's right, but then you have to really get it. The new habit is there, but it's not cemented yet. And see, that's why you have to go do the deeper work. And so the deeper journaling gets it there. So when upset comes, you don't fall back into something that's negative. You got something else that bounces you back. See. You know, and say, oh yeah, you know, I'm enough, you know, everywhere I go, there's good for me. I mean, you know, everywhere I go, somebody's saying, yeah, hey. I mean, but you have to rewire the brain to see that everywhere you go, there's an angel for you. Instead of somebody trying to get you. Somebody got something to give you, a gift of life, a gift of joy, a gift of kindness. But you have to develop that in your consciousness. Otherwise, the old stories take over, you know, the fear. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was talking about fear. So let's fear what we want. Instead of fear, let's fear spring is going to be good. Let's fear that I got that new car. Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's fear that.
Yeah.
Instead of all this stuff about fear, change the energy. And then she started laughing. And so when you fear what you want, it brings you joy. Instead of fearing what you don't want, it brings you sadness. Joy tells your cells you want to live. Depression tells your body you want to shut down. So it's the reason why we have to stay in joy. It keeps us on the planet longer. It keeps us in our body longer when we can create joy. You know, it keeps us happy and healthy and wealthy, because health is wealth. Well, right now, what I'm working on is a survey to survey African Americans about COVID-19, because in the South, a lot of people are not getting the help they need and stuff like that. And so I'd like for us to actually come up with a better plan. So in 1918, when the flu epidemic came, and lots of African Americans died, or at that time we called Negroes, and here we are at the same juncture. And so I'd like to see a better healthcare plan. I'd like to see a healthcare plan that's directly there to work with people who are non-white, because melanin makes a difference for us. I mean, and so you can come up with treatments that's really specific for people who absolutely live a different life. And so I like to see that. I like to see health. I like to see us be healthy. I like to see young people really understand the power of the possibility that they have within them for good. Okay. I mean, it really. I mean, just think about a baby. I mean, one thing about a toddler, I don't care if a toddler falls down 100 times and gets back up again to walk. I mean, trying to walk. I mean, it's like those little wobbly. I like for us to remember to be like that toddler, to always get up again. I mean, because as long as you can get up again, you can have a better tomorrow. Yeah. Oh yeah, this one says, "Today I begin again." And that's what life is. That's when you wake up every day. You say, "Oh, I am so glad to be alive today. What's good for me?" Yeah. All right. This one here says, "I accept my good now," because we've been programmed to believe our good is coming, but it's only the power of now. That's all we have in this moment is now. And this one here is just like people coming out of oppression have to learn that I am enough. This is the essence of my being. I am enough already. I am that I am, and I am enough.
Man, we're so honored to have Reverend Harriet Walden come down to the studio and share her wisdom and experience. And we have something really special for y'all. We have two of our guests were able to join the live stream, and we're actually going to bring them on. And if any guests out there watching, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in some comments. Otherwise, we're just going to have a little discussion and hear live from some of the guest artists that we heard from today in today's episode. So without further ado,
Yo, how you doing, man?
Hello.
Good, man.
Can you?
How are you doing?
Good.
I'm doing well. It's a good day.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy out here. Like we're in Capitol Hill. We hear like fireworks, banging, cars honking. Just like it's kind of an interesting time to have an episode about Black Lives Matter.
Hey, it's the perfect time. I mean, people partying up on the mural. I mean, that I was really struck. I was talking with another artist. Actually, I was talking with Barry today about like how wow, the Black Lives Matter mural is where people came together and to dance and to celebrate.
That's awesome.
It's pretty deep. So
Yeah.
I'm go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, what did you think of the episode? I mean, you had your own part, but you also, maybe heard some other voices.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm very self-conscious on camera. I realize, but it was really cool, meeting with you all and you guys taking the time out to really, talk. And I think that what you're doing is a good thing, and that I look forward to seeing like what iterations will appear in the future, because I think you're on to something really good, and I think it's just a matter of consistently doing it over and over again, and building up that repertoire and that experience to really get people to like open up and get comfortable and that sort of thing, and you kind of set that atmosphere. So that was pretty dope. So I mean, I know when we were talking, I felt really at ease, and I could just be myself. It's just a little surreal for me to see myself on camera. So, but
thank you, man. Yeah, I felt honored, man. Like I felt like I was learning from a great artist. Like I feel like I'm, I can't say I'm young anymore, but I'm a little bit younger than you, and I feel like your wisdom and your experience. I was like, man, I still remember the things that you said. Of like, man, I need to be doing this with my art.
What did I say? I need to write those things down, because sometimes I got to remind myself. I mean,
but
I'm glad.
What about you, D man? How was it? How was the episode for you?
Dope, man. I definitely agree with what he was saying, man. It's very cool. Just seeing everybody did, something different. You know what I mean, and had their own little message in what they wanted to say. It was very inspiring, definitely.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you guys have any feelings about this time period now? I mean, the election, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but or just this general time right now. I mean, I feel like, we're all artists kind of in different stages, different places, but we're all coming together, Like, is there anything, that you'd like to say to the public or community? And, this gonna be archived in Seattle Asian Art Museum, history in the city. So like that. It's a pretty wild time. So
Yeah, man, it's my bad.
Oh no, you go ahead, D. I was about to ask you what you thought.
Yeah, man. I think it's crazy, man. It's been crazy, but it's been a lot of beautiful things to come out of it though. A lot of art. I think this is a time for artists, to really express themselves and reflect the things that are going on right now. I think that our perspectives on this is very important. Definitely. So it's been tight, like walking through Seattle and seeing all the artwork, and people just, expressing, everybody's going through this together. Is different for everybody, but I think it, being inside, it's definitely giving me time to work on my art and stuff like that. So I'm sure it's giving a lot of other artists the time to do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Moses?
I was just gonna say about today. I mean, it feels like it's been a long time coming, and I know I did a bit of a dance and I shed some tears because I didn't even realize how much. I think for me personally, it's like it's just absorbing it all. There's been so many things revealed in the last 4 years, 4 or 5 years, and I would even say even before that, over the past 12 years, really, it's been a series of revelations that people thought like, oh, we've made it, and then we turn around and we're like, oh, actually more was revealed. And so we have more work to do. We must celebrate. We must continue, and we must, more than anything, listen to one another and actually take action on those things that are good. They're for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
Man.
why I'm here. That's why I decided to come on tonight. I was like, I could have just been like, I could just want to go to bed, whatever. But it's like, nah, it's like, you got to complete the mission, and I appreciate, you all taking the time out to make space for all of us. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think like in some ways, I really feel like I'm trying to kind of like when we were talking about the process, but you can also execute, but like you want the process to reflect like the whole project, not just the end result of like, oh man, I made this thing or this whatever, And so I feel like it really does, I'm trying to bring together people and us all represent ourselves, not something else, and then we can all learn to listen and respect each other, and like. When Harriet was talking about how like the, government, this is a participatory government, and for me, I've never felt like this was my place. I've never had faith in politics. I've been very like cynical the older I get, but I do feel like this time now is very auspicious, and it is ripe with change. And like, like Dee is saying, I think it's time for artists to come out and do their thing and speak up and help guide that change and help shift that consciousness. So I'm super honored to know you, and definitely love to collab in the future, and super honored that you guys would come on. So
definitely, man. Thank you for having me, man. For real.
Yeah, I enjoyed your performance.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. It's so good. I know you did 3 songs. I low key only put 2 on so that I can put it out a new one later.
Oh man, all good, man. All good.
Maybe cut your interview up and then put it out more, But man, it's amazing, man. Your music really spoke to me, and it's like we gotta learn from all perspectives, like like now that I had a young person called me old and felt like I was from a different generation, and I'm like, damn,
Oh man.
like,
Don't let that get to you. Wait, how old are you? You're white. What?
I'm 33. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're young as hell.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, yeah, man, I'm super honored. I just, we're just kind of chopping it up. Just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to speak. And, last week we had, a lot more listeners, viewers, so maybe I thought, some folks might ask, but I think today is just such a wild time. Everybody's out.
Dude,
And
today is everyone's just feeling the vibes, So
yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah.
It's a great day. This day let's just always remember this day and keep pushing forward. We can't go back. So
Yeah.
I appreciate all that you guys are doing, and I'm sure our paths will cross and some collaborations will appear. So yeah.
Dope. All right, y'all. Well, I don't want to keep you from sleeping and enjoying your evening, but on this historic occasion, I am most honored to share the screen and be on, be in the same page, and so yeah, wish you guys a wonderful night. And
yeah, I mean, I've got hope. I've got a little bit of hope again.
Yeah.
We have a woman and a man in the White House.
Yeah, our first Black and Asian vice president and female. Like
and a woman.
Like that's, man.
Yeah, historic.
Yeah.
So, all right now.
Awesome. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much.
All right.
See you later.
All right.
Take it easy. Much love and respect. And yeah, yep.
Is there one?
Peace. So yeah, it's lovely being able to connect through our art and our culture and really see how both similar we are and how we can love and appreciate and learn from our differences. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Black Lives Matter. Please tune in next week, 7:30. We will try our best to be on time, and got to give a shout out to our partners. Yeah, we got to give a shout out to our partners, the Seattle Asian Art Museum, Seattle Art Museum, the Seattle Office of Arts and Culture, Blue Cone Studios right here, and Pound Studio and Gallery just a couple blocks away, and the whole Future Ancient Public Art team, as well as all the artists and the guests on today's episode, as well as the whole season. I think we have over 35 features, so please tune in. We got every Saturday at 7:30. And shout out to Nibor and Jamari right here too. Man, without them today, it would not have been possible. It's pretty clutch. It's funny what happens behind the scenes. But anyways, much love and respect, y'all. Have a wonderful night, and I hope you guys enjoy your evening. And keep making history and keep loving yourselves and keep doing your thing. Peace.